You want to prop yourself up on a block for right now. We're going to start in a nice, easy cross-legged seat, or any position that just feels like a good idea for you to begin, where you can have a nice tall spine, because we are going to do a little bit of Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. So just a little preview of that. But for now, let us roll our shoulders, roll the neck around, and take whatever movements feel good in your body that allow you to connect into your seat and really arrive for your practice. If you'd like, you can blink your eyes closed or just find a place to bring your gaze, maybe the tip of your nose or just out in front of you, so that you can begin to draw inward. And as you draw in, just consider, is there anything that you need in this moment that could give you a little more comfort, a little more support? So maybe that's a little bit more movement. Sometimes it's hard to find stillness right away, so don't force that. Just really invite it. Give yourself a quiet moment to connect to your breath. Without trying to manipulate the breath in any way just yet, just simply notice the inhale and the exhale, the rise and the fall. Notice the quality of your breath as you begin practice. Perhaps you are realizing you've been holding your breath. Maybe this is the first time you're really acknowledging your breath. So just take a moment to become familiar. Perhaps you notice how the breath has naturally started to deepen. And if that hasn't happened, just begin to gently invite a little more depth to your breath, a little more fullness. And then from here, I'll invite you to bring your hands together at your heart and consider an intention for your practice. Something simple, a word or a phrase that can anchor you. Maybe that anchor is simply presence with your breath. Maybe it's the first word that popped into your mind. Whatever it is, let it be just for you. And then hold that intention between your hands. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, seal the intention into your body, into your being, as if it is already so. And then we will blink our eyes open. You can let your left hand just rest on your thigh, and you're going to take your right hand. The two pointer and middle finger are going to come to your third eye center, the place between your brows. So just kind of feel that little connection. And then your thumb will rest on your right nostril, and your ring finger will rest on your left. Your pinky finger is just hanging out. And then breathe all the way in and all the way out. Take another breath in. And as you exhale, seal your right nostril. Exhale out your left. Breathe in through the left. Hold the breath for a moment and then seal the left nostril. Exhale out the right. Breathe in through the right. Hold the breath for a moment. Seal the right nostril. Exhale out the left. Inhale left. Pause at the top of the breath. Seal the left nostril. Exhale out the right. Inhale right. Pause for a moment. Seal the right nostril. Exhale left. And then inhale left. Pause. Seal the left and exhale right. Inhale right. Pause for a moment. Seal the right and exhale left. Do one more round. Inhale left. Pause at the top. Seal the left and exhale right. Inhale right. Pause for a moment. Seal the right and exhale left. Release your right hand. Take a full breath in. And a long breath out. And just take a moment to notice how you feel after that short pranayama practice. Do you feel a little more balanced? Do you feel a little more ease? And you might not. Pranayama practice used to stress me out quite a bit. So just allow your experience to be what it is. Give yourself one more full breath in. Long clearing breath out. All right, and then let us make our way to our hands and our knees into a tabletop. So I'm going to give you an option here. You can, once you get into your tabletop, you can either move through just a regular cat-cow, inhaling to drop the belly low, exhale, round through the spine, and carry on like that. Or you can go through a little modified version. We're going to exhale, send the hips towards the heels into a little child's pose. And then as you inhale, you're going to come all the way through, let the hips drop and come into a cobra pose or a high cobra pose. Exhale, coming through your tabletop to child's pose. And then inhale, rocking through into that back bend. So play around with whatever feels the best in your body in this moment. I've been loving this little variation, just giving me a little more space for the body to move and groove. Maybe you start to add a little bit of movements, make it your own, really move in a way that feels the most true to you. You might close your eyes as you move in this space and in this way, just to tune in a little bit more to the inner experience here. A couple more breaths, and you can take it away in any way that you want, really. All that's just an invitation, just a guide. Good. And then whenever you're ready, we're gonna all meet in a child's pose. So just a couple moments to get yourself there. Get nice and low to the ground. If that's not agreeable with your knees, you can come into a higher child's pose or just come into a seated position. But just a moment to find stillness and just notice how your body feels after connecting your breath to your body. So just a little pause. Good, and then let your next inhale initiate moving through tabletop, and your next exhale make your way to a downward facing dog. Lots of time and space here to pedal it out, feel your way around, stretch your way into your down dog. Being really compassionate and gentle, being the first down dog of practice. Feel your hands and feet connected to the ground. Feel length in your spine. Feel your belly drop up and in. Head is nice and heavy. Good, and then from here, we're gonna inhale to lift the heels and bend the knees, and then just take a walk to the top of your mat. Plant your feet hips width distance, maybe a halfway lift to find length through the spine. Exhale, fold. A moment in a ragdoll forward fold, just because it feels nice. Generous bend to the knees, shake your head. And then perhaps for today, you take your hands just behind the ankles or the shins, maybe by the Achilles, and just sort of connect into your body to hold here. Again, generous bend to your knees is welcome. Then fingertips straight towards the ground. Take a halfway lift. Stay here as you exhale, bring your hands to your hips or your low waist. Hug the elbows in, press into the ground, and inhale, rise all the way to stand with a nice neutral spine. Allow your hands to drop by your sides. Take a moment in your Tadasana pose, standing firmly on the ground, feeling your breath fully in your body. And then as you're ready, we'll inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, hinge and fold down to the ground. Take a halfway lift. Now you could put some blocks under your hands if you wanted. We're gonna stay in this halfway lift, and then we're just gonna squeeze the right heel in towards the sit bone. And then set your right foot down and squeeze the left heel in towards your sitting bone. And then set the left foot down. Let's do one more on the right. And then one more on the left. Good, and then if you've got the blocks, you can move the blocks aside. Take a forward fold all the way into yourself. Inhale, rise all the way up just to stretch. And then we're gonna exhale all the way back down. Take a halfway lift. You're gonna step your right foot back for a low lunge. Fingertips to the mat, inhale to gaze forward. Good, and then plant your hands, step your left foot back to meet your right, come into downward facing dog. Inhale to a high plank, nice and strong, your knees can be up or down. And then exhale, lower all the way down to your belly with control. Point your toes, inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, lower your chest down, and then inhale, rise through tabletop or high plank, and exhale your way to downward facing dog. Your right leg is gonna lift on your inhale. Step the right foot forward between your hands. Back to your low lunge, fingertips come to the mat. And then maybe you take the blocks underneath your hands, either the medium setting or the high setting. Take a breath in as you look forward. As you exhale, straighten through the right leg, tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, rock forward, gaze forward. And exhale to straighten. Inhale, rock forward. and exhale to straighten. So hold here for a moment. You can stay there, or your hands can, the blocks might move a little bit more towards the center. You might keep your hands there, or maybe you play with taking your hands off of the blocks or off of the ground and sending your hands behind or right next to your hips. And then notice if you hold your breath as you hold the pose. Breathe. Good, and then hands return to the ground or to the blocks, bend into your right knee. You might even move the blocks ahead of you. We're gonna step into the right leg to come into a half split. So hands on blocks or not. Let the crown of your head draw down. As your left leg draws up, just come into that left heel squeezing in towards your sitting bone. And then extend the left leg back. 2 more times if you want. Squeeze the heel in towards your sitting bone and then extend. 1 more time, squeeze it in and extend. As you exhale, step your left foot down to meet your right. Take a halfway lift and forward fold. Ride the wave of your breath out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hands to heart, arms at your sides, Tadasana. Good. Again, inhale, arms rise all the way up. Exhale, hinge and fold down to the ground. Take a halfway lift. Your left foot is going to step back this time, low lunge. Inhale, light on the fingertips, open through the heart. And then exhale, plant the palms, step your right foot back to meet your left, downward facing dog. Inhale to your plank pose. And then exhale, lower all the way or maybe halfway down. Breathe in, stay with cobra or move to upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Good, the left leg is going to lift on the inhale. Step the left foot forward between your hands. Low lunge, back knee is going to stay lifted. And then hands at the mat or at the blocks. Take a breath in as you gaze forward. And then exhale, straighten through the left leg, tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, rock forward, bend into the left knee. Exhale to straighten. Inhale to bend. And then exhale to straighten and hold. So you can stay here, you can move the blocks if you've got them, you can move your hands through the center. Maybe you start to float the fingers off of the ground and hands come alongside your hips. So all 10 fingers are reaching towards the back of your mat. And it is a little wobbly. Don't forget to breathe. Good, and then hands return to the ground, bend into your left knee. Maybe the blocks move with you as you step into a standing split. And then from your standing split, we're going to bring the right heel in towards the right sitting bone. Extend the right leg back. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, extend. 1 more time, exhale, draw in. Inhale, extend, and this time with the exhale, the right foot comes down to meet the left. Take a halfway lift. Forward fold. Rise and reach, out and up. And exhale, hands to heart center, arms to your sides, Tadasana. All right, let's go again. We'll change it up a little bit. Inhale, arms rise all the way up. Exhale, fold. Take a halfway lift. Step your right foot back for a low lunge, gaze forward. Exhale, straighten through the left leg. Tuck your chin to your chest just 1 time. Inhale, rock forward. Plant your hands, step back for your exhale, high plank. Take a full breath in at the top of your plank, and then exhale, lower down all the way or partway. Inhale into your back bend, and exhale, downward facing dog. Good, from down dog, we're gonna lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward, and then exhale, walk, step, or jump to the top. Take a halfway lift, forward fold. Right, my knee cracks. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, we're going to go all the way back down. Take a halfway lift. This time the left foot steps back, low lunge. Inhale to gaze forward. Exhale exhale, straighten through the right leg just one time. Inhale, bend into the right knee. Plant your palms, step back, high plank, take a breath at the top, and exhale, lower down. Inhale, open up. Exhale, back to down dog. Good, from down dog, lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward, exhale, come to the top of your mat. Take a halfway lift and forward fold. Rise all the way up and exhale, hands to heart center. Good, arms to your sides, Tadasana. So give yourself just a moment or two. Notice how you feel now that we've warmed up a little bit more. Maybe you take a moment to recall your intention. All right, let's keep it going. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. As you exhale, fold down to the ground. Take a halfway lift. You're gonna step your left foot back this time, low lunge. Good. The left hand is gonna plant, the right hand is gonna reach up to the sky for a simple twist. And then we're just gonna take a few arm circles going backwards, so reaching your right hand back, down, and forward a couple of times, following your breath. And then once you go one way, we're gonna go the other way. Notice if you're dropping all of your weight into your left hand as you do this. There's a lot going on here, so just be aware of where your body is in space. Good. And then when you're ready, your right hand is gonna come down. We're gonna straighten through the right leg, step your left foot up a footprint or so. So we're coming into a true pyramid pose. You can absolutely use the blocks if that feels like a good idea to you. Take a halfway lift, either hands at the blocks or fingertips to the mat, and then fold forward. And give yourself just a couple breaths here. Good, all right, let's bend into the right knee. We're gonna slide the left foot back. So you're coming back to that low lunge. And then fingertips, left fingertips are gonna reach forward. And the right fingertips are gonna reach forward, so you're in a projected lunge. Good, press into your feet and rise all the way up to a high crescent. Oop, losing my balance there. Good, and then sink in, soften in. You can stay here, or if you want to open up the chest a little bit, you can bend the elbows and lift the heart up to the sky, gaze lifting as well. Good, inhale, reach up to the sky. As you exhale, hands come down. Step it back, take a vinyasa if you want. Or you can go right to a down dog, you can go to cat-cow, whatever feels the best. All right, from our down dog, we're gonna lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward, and then exhale, walk, step, jump to the top. Take a halfway lift and forward fold. Rise all the way out and up. And hands to heart center once again. Arms to your sides, Tadasana. All right. Let's do the other side. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold. Take a halfway lift. The right foot is going to step back this time, low lunge. Right hand on the ground or on a block. Left hand is going to go up to the sky for your twist. And then we'll start to open the shoulders a little bit here. So circling the left arm back, down, and up, all the way around, seeing just how the shoulders feel. Once you go a couple of times backwards, we're going to go forwards. Again, just aware of how much weight you're putting on the right hand. Good, and then as you're ready, the left hand is going to come down. Again, blocks or not. Straighten through the left leg, step your right foot up a footprint or so. So all 10 toes are facing towards the front of your mat. Feet are in 2 lanes. Blocks or not, halfway lift, Draw the left hip back, right hip forward, and then fold forward. And breathe, and just notice if you are locked in your left knee joint. Can you soften a bit there? Good, and then we're gonna inhale, rock into the left knee, slide the right foot back, come back to your low lunge. Your right fingers are gonna reach forward. And then the left. Woo. Inhale, rise the arms all the way up, high crescent. Use your exhale to ground in. So softening into your foundation, dropping your shoulders down, firming your belly up. And then either stay there or start to goal post the arms, lift the heart, and come into a little bit of a back bend. And it doesn't have to be huge, right? Maybe it's just the gaze lifting a bit. Just not collapsing in the low back, really drawing out of it. All right, one more breath in and out. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back, vinyasa, option, low or no. Good, and then just sort of let that settle into your body for a couple of breaths. Right, from here, lift the heels, bend the knees, look to the top of your mat, and then travel there. Take a halfway lift and forward fold. We're gonna sit down to rise up, coming into Utkatasana. So bending at the ankles, knees, and hips. All right, and then the arms, the legs are gonna stay, the arms are just gonna sweep back, so like airplane arms. So think about drawing the shoulder blades together, lifting the heart up. Good. So from here, press into your feet. You're gonna inhale, reach up to an extended mountain pose, and then you're gonna exhale back to your little chair plane. So just do that 3 times or so. Without rush, don't hear the number 3 and try to check it all off the list, right? Enjoy the experience as you go. Okay, so now from here, think about anchoring into the left foot. And then as you inhale, stand tall in the left foot, bring your right knee with you, so one-legged Tadasana. And then exhale back to your little chair plane pose. Shift the weight into your right foot, inhale, left knee lifts as your arms reach up. And exhale, step it back to your chair plane. Good, so we'll do that a couple more times. Inhale, right knee lifts. Exhale, chair plane. Inhale, left knee. And exhale, chair plane. All right, this time we're gonna inhale, reach up, one-legged Tadasana. Now we're going for an actual airplane. As you exhale, sweep the arms back, kick the right foot back, lift the heart, feel the shoulders draw together. Good, continue to breathe. And then nice and slow, we're gonna bend into the left knee. Your right toes are gonna reach back for the ground. So projected lunge, land. And then we'll inhale, rise back to our crescent pose. All right, from here, we're gonna bring our hands to our hips, straighten through the left leg, and then step your right foot up. We're gonna come into another pyramid pose, but this time I'm gonna give you an option to open the shoulders a little bit. So if you wanted, if it's in your practice, you could come into a reverse namaste. That's not in my practice because my shoulders don't do that. So an option would be to bend your left elbow and just bring your hand to your low back, and then bend your right elbow, stack it on top. So it might be grabbing your wrists, or you might be able to reach your elbows. And if none of that is agreeable to your body, you can just bring your hands to your hips and hug the elbows in. So whatever you're doing, think about squaring your hips off, lifting your heart. Take a full breath in, and then as you exhale, we're gonna slowly and steadily fold. Pause in the halfway mark. Now, if this feels wobbly at all, you can always bring your hands to the blocks or the ground right away. Good, and then when you're ready, we're gonna fold all the way over the legs. So you can bring your hands to the ground at any time. You can also keep whatever you have going behind your back. All right, so if you have your hands behind your back, we're gonna bring hands to the ground. This is an option to play with a little, I call it flamingo pose. I don't know what the actual proper term is. But if you want to play, we're going to come into a halfway lift spine. So your hands can be on your blocks here, or they can be on the ground. But you're going to want to flip your hands around so that your fingers are pointing the opposite way. So it's about halfway between your legs. And then just feel your hands press into the ground. So a little bit of weight lightens in your back leg. That might be just where you stay and play. Or think about squeezing, if you remember squeezing your heel in towards your sitting bone, you might be able to squeeze your right foot in towards your sitting bone and come into a little balance there. This is like a great place where blocks are really helpful because they bring the ground a little closer to you. If it's stable for you, you can squeeze the leg in. Good. Okay, that's a lot. We're gonna release it all. Now we're going to bend into the left knee, drop the back foot down, and then we're going to cartwheel all the way open to a warrior two. Whew. Good, and let yourself land here. We're really first hip opening pose, if I'm not mistaken. Notice where your shoulders are, soften. And then we're gonna flip the front palm, tip back, peaceful warrior. Reaching up and back. And then really make a conscious choice. Where do you want your gaze to be? So often we look up. What would it feel like to look down and back? It changes the whole feel of the pose when we change our gaze, I think. Good, and then rise to warrior two. We're gonna go to extended side angle, left elbow to the left thigh. Right arm is gonna come up or overhead. And then that same option, if you want, to work into some of those arm circles. So maybe going backwards a couple of times, going forwards. Good, and then if you want, we perhaps have opened the shoulders a little bit. You can come into a little half bind. Full bind if it's in your practice. Maybe the left hand comes down to the ground. Good, another breath, maybe two. Think about opening the hips towards the right side of your mat. And then we're gonna release any binding, tip it all the way back, oh baby, to peaceful warrior. And exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the ground. Step back to a high plank, and then move through your version of a vinyasa today to down dog. And then take a moment here. Let's just bring the knees down to the mat, knees wide, toes together, and take 3 breaths in child's pose. So we're not going to be here terribly long, but just kind of a moment to connect to the ground. Notice how you feel from your right side to your left side. All right, and then when you're ready, we'll rise to tabletop. Curl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. You're going to inhale to look forward and exhale to make your way to the top. Take a halfway lift and forward fold. We're going to rise all the way up to the sky, and then we'll sit down from that extended mountain pose back to our Utkatasana. from here, we're gonna just sweep the arms back and we'll go through those little playing motions once again. So both feet on the ground for the first 3 breaths here. Inhale, reach all the way up. And then exhale back to that chair plane pose. Inhale, reach up, no rush. Exhale back. Inhale, reach up. And exhale back. Good, this time you're gonna anchor into the right foot. As you reach up, bring the left knee with you. And then exhale back to your chair. Inhale, right knee rises, one-legged Tadasana. Exhale, chair, plane. Inhale, left knee. Exhale, sit it down. Inhale, right. Exhale, sit down. All right, this time inhale, reach the left knee up, and then we're gonna exhale, open it up to our airplane pose. So really stretch the fingers back, lift the heart up. Feel the shoulder blades draw together. And notice if you're trying to crank through the back of your neck, can you find a little more of an extended line through the whole spine? Good, okay, let's bend into the right knee. The left toes are gonna reach all the way back. Land for your high crescent. Arms float up as you're ready. Good, all right, from here, hands come to your hips. Straighten through the right leg. Step your left foot up so you're setting up for your second side of your pyramid pose. Either hugging the elbows in, reverse namaste, or this time the right elbow bends first and then the left goes on top. Maybe you can reach the elbows, maybe it's just the hands or the wrists. And then square off the hips, lift the heart, take a breath in. As you exhale, slowly hinge, pausing in that halfway lift. So just breathing in that balance. Again, your hands can come down on the ground anytime. Good, and then we'll complete the fold. Hands come down when you want. If you want to keep the challenge, keep the bind. And then we'll play once again by bringing the hands either to the ground or to the blocks. You'll move your hands about halfway into your mat. Fingers are going to face the opposite direction. So you're just pressing your hands into the ground so you feel a little bit of the weight off of the left foot. That might be enough, or maybe you can lean in enough to squeeze your left heel in towards your sitting bone. And maybe you play with it. Maybe you do it a couple of times, or maybe it's one and hold. Good, and then the left foot is going to return to the ground, bend into your right knee, low lunge. And then we're going to drop the back heel down. Reach the left arm forward, up and around, warrior two. Land and settle into it. Allow some of that weight to be equally distributed to both the right and the left foot. And then we'll flip our front palm and tip back all the way to peaceful warrior. Again, deciding where your gaze goes, right? How often do we default to one particular spot? Maybe change it up today. All right, and then we're gonna rise through warrior two, making our way to extended side angle, right elbow on the right thigh or knee, left arm straight up or over. And then again, that option to move into those circles with your arms a couple of times forward, a couple of times back. Good, and then if it feels like a good choice, you can come into a half bind or a full bind. Maybe the right hand comes to the ground, to a block. Where's your breath? Right, and then we're going to release any binds that we have. Tip it all the way back to peaceful warrior. Exhale to cartwheel your hands down to the ground. Step back, high plank, vinyasa if you would like. And then downward facing dog. Okay, couple breaths. All right, from here, we're gonna reach the right leg all the way up to the sky. And then step the right foot forward between your hands, rise up high crescent just for the inhale. And then we're gonna exhale, open up to a warrior two. Good. From your warrior two, straighten through your right leg, turn your right toes in. We're gonna go toes out, heels in, bend your knees. Arms are gonna come out like cactus arms. Good. So you could stay here if you want to have a little dynamic movement. You're gonna jump the feet together and bring the elbows together into a little chair pose. And then you'll come back to your goddess pose. Yep, it's like in and out, in and out. Just think open and close, like a game of peekaboo. Good. And then whenever you're done playing, you'll come back to your goddess pose. We'll straighten through the legs. Arms are going to reach out, turn your toes in, lift your chest, and then we'll slowly fold down to the ground. Hands can come to the earth, crown goes down, hips go high, whatever high is for you, right? Lean the weight into the bottoms of your feet just a bit. Good, and then from here, we'll come into a halfway lift. Nice long spine here. Walk your hands to the front of your mat, turn all 10 toes there, bend into the right knee. Good. Lower your left knee down, and then we'll heel toe the right foot over to the right edge of your mat. So coming into a little lizard pose. You could stay high in your lizard pose, or you could bring your elbows and your forearms down to the ground. And then maybe you come onto the knife edge of your right foot. Maybe there's a little bit of side to side movement. Perhaps you roll the neck around a little bit. Give yourself 2, maybe 3 more breaths. All right, from here, your hands are going to come down to the mat if they're not already there. Curl the left toes under, and then feel a little bit of bounce in your back leg, and you're going to step your left foot up to the left edge of your mat, coming into Malasana. So if that's a lot on your knees, you can come into a high Malasana. If you want, you can do a little shifting side to side. We're going to be here again, but if there's anything that you're wanting to explore, go ahead. Otherwise, hands to heart, let the hips drop down, crown lift, couple of breaths. Good, and then palms are going to come to the ground. Lift your hips up, heel toe your feet back together, bend your knees, plant your hands, and then step back, float back, move back any way that you want to get back. We'll land and meet in downward facing dog. Great, and then your left leg is gonna lift. As you exhale, step your left foot forward. Inhale, rise up, high crescent, and then right away, exhale, warrior two. Good, straighten through the left leg, turn your left toes in. So it's toes out, heels in, bend your knees, cactus shape your arms, back to your goddess pose. Good, from here, we're gonna either stay right where you are, or inhale, lift the arms, straighten the legs, come to a little star shape, and then exhale, drop back down into your goddess. Maybe a little more depth. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, drop down. Good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, drop down. Good. This time, inhale, everybody reach up, and then exhale, arms out, feet parallel. Stay there, or take your hands behind your back, interlace the fingers, draw the knuckles down, lift your heart up, and then hinge and fold, nice and slowly. And then you might find stillness here, or maybe there's a little bit of movement. Maybe you stretch over to one leg and the other. If the bind is not working for you, you can certainly get rid of it. Two more breaths. All right, and then you're going to release hands down to the ground, take a halfway lift. Walk your hands to the front of your mat, bend into your left knee. Lower your right knee down. And then you can heel toe the left foot over to the left edge of the mat. Hands can stay where they are. You could use the blocks under your elbows or come just down to the ground. Connect to the breath here. Stay present for your experience. All right, last breath in. Long breath out. And then we'll bring the hands back to the mat if they are not there. Curl the right toes under. We're heading to Malasana. So you're going to step the right foot to the right edge of your mat. I didn't say it before, but you could also use both of your blocks if you're using blocks to make a little spot for you to sit. This is also a great place if you want to explore something like a crow pose or a headstand, maybe some twisting. Really just ask yourself, ask your body what you need in this moment, and trust that it is the right thing for you. All right, another couple of breaths. Beautiful. And then back to our Malasana. We're going to take the hands down, lift the hips up, heel toe the feet together, and then halfway lift to fold, bend your knees, plant your hands. This is last chance to flow, or one that I'm going to offer anyway. Coming into down dog, and then we will meet in a child's pose for just a little check-in. Just notice what's changed. ankles shifted. All right, and then we'll rise up just enough so you can either shift your hips to one side or cross your ankles, come onto your seat. Scoot your feet to the edge of your mat, planted hips width. We're gonna lift the chest, float the arms, and then slowly lower down all the way to your back. Reach your arms overhead, come into a full body stretch if that feels nice. And then we'll gather the knees in, wrap up into a little ball, perhaps forehead to the knees. Good, and then let's lower the feet to the mat, hips width distance, heels drawn in. Feel your feet connected to the ground, and then feel your palms connect to the ground too. Feel your tailbone tuck under a little bit so you can feel your low back on the mat. And then from that grounded place, we're just gonna nice and slowly lift the hips. Just a breath or two here in this initial bridge pose. And then slowly lower yourself down. Think about rolling the spine down. And then let the knees just go side to side, just a little counter. And then set yourself up for another one. So hands on the ground, feet on the ground. Draw the belly or the navel down towards the spine. And then press into the earth, lift the hips. Good, so you might stay there or press into the ground a little more and snuggle the shoulder blades underneath you so you get a little more chest lift and maybe the palms come together and you interlace your fingers. Think about hugging the thighs and the knees in towards the midline. Good, and then slow and steady, release your bind if you have it. We're gonna lower down and then knees go side to side once again. Right, so last bridge, set it up just like we did. We're gonna lift the hips on an inhale. So you can stay here, you can come into the bound bridge, or you can come into a dynamic bridge where you reach your arms overhead, taking a breath in, and then as you exhale, you lower the hips down and the arms come alongside you. So inhale, lift up, open it up, and exhale, down. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Good, stay here. Allow the feet to go a little wider, let the knees go side to side. And then let's bring the knees up to the sky. We'll bring the soles of the feet together and come into Supta Baddha Konasana, just to counter that as well. If you wanted to put blocks underneath your knees or thighs for a little added support, you could. Maybe left hand to heart, right hand to belly. And feel the breath move within you. Maybe connect to the beat of your own heart. Right, if it feels really nice to just stay where you are welcome to do that. Otherwise, we're gonna finish the practice with just a little bit of a stretch and a twist. So if you want to go on with that, you'll take your hands to your legs and close the legs like a book. And then extend the left leg long and draw your right knee in. So just hug your knee in towards your chest. And then point your toes up to the sky, extend your your right leg rather. Hands can come behind your hamstring or maybe behind your knee or your calf. And just gently guide your leg towards your body. Good, and then we'll bend the right knee. Take your left hand and guide the right knee across your body, coming onto your left hip. And then if you want, from here, right arm can come out to the right, or you can squeeze your left heel in towards your sit bone like we did a couple times in practice. Maybe your right hand finds your left foot. If you can find the foot, you have this little bit of leverage, like you're sort of pulling your body apart, but not, it's just like a little stretch. You have your left foot, you're going to release that, release the right arm. We're going to bring it back to center. And then you'll exchange legs, left knee in, right leg long. Hug your left knee in. And then the right hand will gently guide, you're going to straighten the left leg first. I almost skipped our stretch. Left leg straightens, hands come behind the hamstring, knee, calf. Maybe you can even catch your ankle here. Good. Now we'll bend the knee again. Guide your left knee across the body, coming onto your right hip. Left arm can stay out, or perhaps you squeeze right heel in towards your sitting bone. Left hand comes to the top of the right foot. Maybe you reach for the foot and you can't find it. That's okay too. It's just information. Beautiful. And then gently release the foot if you've got it. Bring yourself all the way back to center. One more tight squeeze if you want. Perhaps even drawing the forehead in towards your knees. Give yourself a full breath in. And then as you exhale, slowly release your body onto your mat and come into your Shavasana. So let the whole body splay out, melt on the ground. Take up all the space that you deserve to take up. Maybe the legs are a little wider, the arms are a little wider. Blink your eyes closed. Let go of the need to control the breath. Just allow the breath to move through you in and out. Sink into stillness. really nice to just stay as you are. You are invited to stay. If you are ready to transition out of your Shavasana, begin to slowly deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And rock your head from side to side. Maybe a full body stretch. Eventually bend your knees and pull onto one side, keeping your eyes closed or just that soft gaze. And then when it feels like the right time, begin to rise up back to your seated position. Maybe opposite shin crossed for good measure. And sit up nice and tall. And bring your palms together. Feel the connection. Draw that into your heart center. A reverent bow of your head to your heart. One last moment to recall your intention. It is my honor to guide you through practice. I wish you well. I wish you peace. Namaste.